Hey, good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or wherever you may be. I hope you're having a good day. Tampa Tom Fishing, first one in the room, followed by Big J's Fish Keeping, Chewy LTD, Griffin Fish Room, Doug Gray. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. I'm having a fry explosion in my home, an absolute fry explosion. Hey, Turbo Fish, Cody-san. Okay, Bolo wants to get down. 1 second. Say hi, Bolo. I just got up and fed the fish. Um, so I'm going to. I have to. Hey, loaves and fishes. Welcome to the live stream. Hey, Diet Dr. Pepper going on. So Bolo and I, after today's live stream, we're going to go. I have to deliver a few things to the Salvation Army store, Amateur Aquatics. Welcome, welcome. And I have to. I'm going to drive by a couple of houses that I'm looking at. I'm going out with the realtor on Tuesday. Hopefully, I can find a place that's going through. Apparently, there's a big problem if you get a home with a basement with something called radon. And so a lot of the newer construction in Joplin, Missouri area does not have a basement. Considering this is Tornado Alley, 9 years ago, a tornado hit this city and killed 160 people. You think every new home would have a basement, but no. So I have to figure that out. So I found a couple like on Zillow, and so we're gonna go see them. But I want to drive the neighborhood before I go over there. So I'm on my way. I am on my way to do it. So I'm gonna go make this drive here in a little bit. Once we're done with the live stream, I set up 2 aquariums with breeders. I've got to take down my 29 and move over. I have 2 10s. Hey, Zen Ginger, welcome to the live stream. I have 2 10-gallons set up that I'm going to be splitting the Yumika Splendens into 4x4. And I'm not taking the Bentley or the Lambo. I drive. Let me just tell you about this fantastically sophisticated car I drive. I drive a Kia with a 6-speed manual transmission. They do make them, and I for whatever reason, automatic transmissions are so great right now that you probably get better gas mileage with one. I really like driving a 6-speed. Can't say it's all good. So my schedule today is I'm going to look at those houses. I've got to drop something off at the Salvation Army of a box of stuff, dishes. And then after that, I have to swing by PetSmart because Bolo needs some delicious, to take his medicine. He has to have those pills. And what I've learned is this, because, I'd rather spend my money on fish. Yeah, the Mobb Guppy Car Club. That's right, everybody. It's I don't need no Lambo. I don't need no Bentley. I got a Kia. All right. Select Bet, welcome to the live stream. Great having you here too, Chewy. Already said hi to you. It's 10 here, 8 likes. You guys, 8 thumbs up. You guys are fantastic. I really appreciate it. So I have the so I went through last night. I went through a couple of aquariums, cutting down the amount of guppy grass and hornwort. I moved some over to the new aquariums, so I'll get that in place. I've got to move some more over for the Amica Splendens when I make that move over, probably tomorrow, and then I'll take this down. One of the guys at work is going to help me lift it up. I've got to stop by Home Depot. I've been obviously I've been talking about this for a week, so it's again, just really busy with a lot of stuff going on. And then later today, I'm guessing by the time I'm done with that, I'll be done with my little errands. It'll be about 3. I'll give Bolo a nice walk, give him his treats. Then I'm going to go to the gym, and because that's part of my New Year's deal. I started this a few weeks ago, getting back in. Following my surgery, I'm in terrible shape. I mean, my goodness. It's, up to mid 2019, I could do big long walk. I could be on that. I could do a full workout and the whole bit, and I have to rebuild myself, man. I've got to get that going on. So part of 2020, baby, 2020. Are you guys calling it 2020 or 2020? So, hey, Melvin's here. Storm Riders Aquatics. Welcome to the live stream. All right, so let's talk about the fry explosion. I have guppy fry upon guppy fries. Really good. My swordtails, by the way, I seem to be getting more males than females. So I'm going to, when the weather gets going here, I just moved over. Yesterday about 10 more male guppies over to all swordtails to the 55-gallon tank. Tomorrow I'll do a video on the 2 breeder tanks I've set up. I have 2 new breeder tanks, one with the Roebuck Reds I got from Doug Gray, and one with the swordtail male that I've been talking about for about 6 weeks. He's finally developing enough of a sword that I feel pretty comfortable with him. He's kind of a slow late bloomer, but he, again, his color is really good. The color is a little bit different in this aquarium, but I really, he's new into this aquarium. As funny is that I've had this aquarium running for about 10 days or so, and I put them in yesterday. And the fish are they're adjusting. They have a lot of guppy grass in there, which is good news. So we'll see how that goes. My 55, I've got to put more guppy grass in. So here's what's going on in my 55. I have chaser females in there to keep the males knowing what their job is, to please the ladies. And those chaser females are dropping fry, and the fry are not getting eaten. I'm sure some are being picked off, but I have leopard danios in there. I have, celestial pearl danios are not that big. Mr. B's Fishing Things, welcome to the live stream. Great having you here. Look at this, 14, 15 here. Holy cow, 10 thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for being involved and being a part of it. So I've set up one group of Roebuck Reds. As soon as I get the Amica Splendens back and their other thing, I'm going to send a second group of the Roebuck Reds. And on the third tank, I'm going to set up another trio of swordtail guppies. And then I've got 4 more aquariums to set up. But that's sort of what's going on here. So it's, let's see, what else can I share with you? Oh, here's what I have going on with fry. I have super red pleco fry. Not many. Again, it's really tough to see because this aquarium is pretty well planted. There's a lot of hiding spots, and a lot of times with plecos, they hide away naturally anyways. But I have seen a couple at one time in different places. They're they're a little teeny, and they look good. They look nice and healthy. So and again, Sailfin Aquatics, welcome to the live stream. And so now I have, which is really, really cool to me, I have a super red pleco fry. I have at least, I've counted to 120 super red, not super red, fire red shrimp. And so I'm in the process now. I've got to get, I've watched a couple of videos on how to set up fish. Big J's, we already plugged you. You're like the second one in the live stream. Tampa Tom being first. The whole process here is the guppies. Again, I just have a ton of guppies. I've been very casual. I didn't pull out the eggs for the super reds. I have a second male who is set up with the super red pleco, so I'm guessing I'm going to have a bunch of fry, which is great. So I've got to learn how to ship it. I've watched a couple of videos on how people do it. I've looked at how our Michael's Fish Room has done a video on shipping fish. Also, also, Dan's Fish has done one. Doug Gray, you should do a video on shipping fish. You ship fish on a regular basis. We could all learn from you. And when Logan is watching, I don't think Logan with Ambist Aquatics is here yet. But when Ambist gets here, he should do one. And so Logan does a lot of fish shipping. So so I'm gonna have to start shipping the fire red plecos. I'm gonna have to start shipping the or fire red shrimp. A super red plecos. I'm probably gonna be there in a few months. You've already done 2 of those videos, Doug? Well, I have to go. Maybe I saw them and who knows? It's I did a lot of drugs back in the 80s. Not really. Didn't really do much drugs. But hey, I'll tell you what. When I got the super red plecos from our buddy Michael, Mr. Subaru Tail, they took forever to get here. They took a wrong turn. I'm watching the ship, and it is so instead of like 2 to 3 days, it was like 5 days. He put them out on Monday. I got them on a Friday, and the good news is everyone did well. I had a female guppy that never quite got into it, which he sent to me as like a bonus. Really nice of him, and but that's what's going on there. Terry's Tropical Fish Tanks. If you remember the 80s, you didn't have fun. I had plenty of fun. I promise you, I had plenty of fun. And okay, well, I'm just gonna have to watch that Turbo Fish. I'm sorry, Doug. I thought I had seen it. I watch all of Doug does all these videos of the crosses that he does, and I'm pretty much into what he's doing there. So so other than that, that's what's going on here. So I have Super Red Pleco Fry, which don't look all that red at this point, but I'm guessing they're a week or 2 old. They look pretty white at this point. I don't think they'll be albino, but who knows? Hopefully they're all super reds. So so now I have 2 male guppies or 2 male plecos. See, I'm getting confused. Super red plecos, fanning fish, fanning eggs, and all that sort of stuff. So it's really cool. So at least I know the first male is a pretty good father. So there you go. Let's see here. So I've got more guppy fry. I'm on generation 3 of swordtail guppies. One of my tanks, I got a pair from Alan Bias. He sent me an extra pair, which was really cool. I set them up. The female died, probably about 8 weeks ago after giving birth. Well, all of a sudden I have a bunch of young fry. So it's most of them I want from the original male. And I am sure that some younger males got in on some of that action. So so we'll see how that goes. So it's I'm watching them grow up. I am going to put on eBay, to sell like 20 swordtail male guppies, because I have that many. I have a bunch of them, so I'll get that ready to go and get that shipping going and ready to go and get that out of here and send them out on a Monday. The good news, my hours at work have changed, and you're allowed to post links, Doug Gray. If it doesn't allow you to post a link, just text it to me. I'll put it up. You should easily be able to do one. You're a moderator, so it's you should be able to put up a link. I have no problem with that. So yeah, and by the way, Doug sent me a text. We've been going back and forth talking about fish junk this morning, and about 15 minutes ago, I had my lunch ready. I had a nice, healthy vegan frozen fare, a vegan Thai pad, which was really good, and by Amy's, and so it's Yeah, go ahead and put up a link to your shipping video, Doug. That'll be fine. And I'll have to figure that out. So it's text it to me. So yeah, so the fish, yeah, so I just have a bunch of a bunch of fish going on. So I'm going to go through and move out a bunch of these male swordtails. So I'll put that up on Aquabit or eBay. Uh, as soon as I feel, I have to get myself all confident and ready to go. But my new hours have changed. So my hours on are 5 a.m. to let's see here. Okay, Doug sent me the link, so let me put this up. Okay, here's the link, everybody. Here is the link. So that's just really weird, Doug. I don't understand why. So I'll have to check if I have some sort of but Kaler is always very kind to put up when he's here to put up links to my Patreon and my Mobb Guppy swag. And you wore a Rick and Morty t-shirt. You see, there you go. It's hey, Jesse, HC Agua, you're going to be doing a live stream with our Aussie guys at 1 a.m. my time. So I won't be seeing it live. I'll have to go through. Yeah, Bob Keeler is a Jedi. Yeah, that's exactly correct. By the way, I saw the Star Wars movie. Why was everybody complaining about this movie? It was fine. I loved it. And I'm not an over the top Star Wars guy, but I've seen all the movies several times. I've never read the fan fiction. Perfectly fine. I enjoyed it very much. I enjoyed the whole deal a lot. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. So yeah, so I'm starting all my breed outs. On my fourth tank I have set up here, I may end up, instead of doing another swordtail, I may start trying my cross that I have in mind with the Roebuck Reds and swordtails. One of my swordtails strains has much more red in it, so I'm going to use that one. So it's and use that and see what kind of magic I can get, what kind of trouble I can get into. So that's what's going to go through. So I'm going to put in one male with two females, do a garden variety trio, and then I'll do a reverse trio where I'll do a super red male with a couple of the swordtail females, and again, see what's going in, do a little inbreeding, do a little crossing of those, and see what happens. The goal is a completely red swordtail guppy. And I'm told, by the way, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I've read a number of these genetic things and all these different deals. Vinny the Mooch, welcome to the live stream. 16 here, 12 thumbs up. Thank you guys for all your support, for sharing the video, doing all that sort of stuff. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys and gals. So yeah, Sailfin Aquatics. Once you go guppy, let me tell you something. The deal is about guppies that I like, and again, it's like people have different things and different challenges. Even though I'm really sort of getting into plecos, and I just did the shrimp out of like a wild hair, and I'm going, will this even work? I'm going to put them in a 55. I'm going to put them. There's Danios in there, a couple different types of strains, types of Danios, guppies in there. Catfish, plecos. Will these things even live? Is this like $40 I wasted? And then I realized out of the deal is that no, they seem to get along just fine. And then I thought to myself, well, maybe when I start getting spawning with the super reds, maybe the shrimp, maybe that'll be a bad deal. No, it's been fine, at least with my experience. And yeah, Jesse, that's great advice. Everyone needs a good strain of guppies. And I'll just tell you what, Sailfin Aquatics. get a couple of 10 gallons at the next dollar per gallon sale, get up sponge filters for them. And, I end up getting my heaters. I get the Aqueon heaters that are preset to 78 degrees. I have that in all of my 10s. Works out perfectly. Keeps the aquariums all at 78. Easy peasy. I use these chambered sponge filters with a media chamber at the bottom. I'm using that and adding that to all my new aquariums. Works out great. Just absolutely great. So here's the deal. It's like with anything else. Get your stock from somewhere good. So go to your local fish club auction. Buy from somebody like Doug. Get some nice stock. And if you get nice stock, you see, the more you start off with, the better you get at the beginning, the happier it is. And let's see here. Amateur aquatics, that's what I do. Is that as males develop, I put them in. I have a 55 that's essentially sort of the extra fish aquarium, where I have my plecos, my shrimp, my cories, and with that aquarium, any male that I have develop, I put in there, allow them to grow out, and then if I want to use them as a breeder, I use them as a breeder. Now, hey, New England Endler, and it's it's the process of it. And with all these male swordtails I have, I haven't talked to my local fish aquarium shop yet, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I pull out all the males as they develop, sometimes a little quicker than others. The Roebuck Red male I put with 2 females, he sort of developed, and I was actually, his body shape was really good. I was a little concerned about his color. Go from there. Yeah, the same rules happen for mollies. Use the, remember, a male will chase around a female all day long. And you want your females as low stress as possible. So, the chaser females I put in the bigger tank, those poor girls are being chased around constantly. I mean, one of them, she had like 3 males on her, all wanting to mate, and probably all did mate with her. I mean, it's she's sort of like Taylor Swift in her daily dating life. And so there you go. Yeah, so again, it's just always use the superior fish. So here's what I'm doing, and I'll do another video coming up with this when I get all the breeders set up for the Roebuck Reds. Technically, what I'm doing is I'm setting up 2 separate strains. It's when I got the fish from Doug Gray, he sent 2 extra females. One was a fry and a very young male, and he developed into a beautiful fish and a little bit of an older female. So the fish from there, I picked out a trio from that group. They're all set up, and on the more mature fish he sent me, I'm going to pick out a trio to go in the other tank. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going through. Big City Bettas, how are you? Dylan Martin, how are you? Welcome to the live stream. Wow, gang. 19 here, 13 thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So the idea here is to set up 2 different groups of in the strain. Number one, because you could have one tank go bad on you. But essentially what I'm doing that is to set up genetic diversity. So my next generation of breeders will come out of this tank. And it'll be, I'm going to call this, I guess, strain A. I need to get a little labeler. That's one of the things I've got to get. So I'm calling that strain A, and the next one is strain B. And strain A, I'm just going to pick out breeders for the next couple of generations. And then, probably, considering I'm going into this is generation two. First one was, the ones were generation number one. I'll do this for another couple of generations. Then I will swap males. I'll let new males breed into there. And just to have genetic diversity, a little bit of vigor, and also to keep the size going in. So so technically they're related, but I'm going to allow them to be apart. So so that's sort of the deal. Um, yeah, so I'm hunting for a home. I'm taking a look. Uh, my first, I looked at 3 houses on Monday. Um, One of them I really kind of liked, but such a crappy neighborhood, sort of an industrial neighborhood, and it's behind, they didn't have a privacy fence around the back. In the back, you could see the local repo man's truck from the neighbor behind. And I don't want to do that. I want something that. And two other places. One of them I went to. The house is in a pretty good neighborhood. I would like living in that neighborhood. Here was the problem: is that the foundation was settling uneven. And on two sides, I didn't bring a level with me, and I probably should get one to bring with me on these things. It wasn't level. It wasn't level at all. And quite frankly, the house wasn't in great shape. It was an okay shape, but it was just, again, not high. Daryl Deemer in the house. Welcome, Daryl. Thanks for being with us. 21 here. Holy cow, you guys. Thank you so much. Let me enjoy a sip of Dr. Pepper as I celebrate. Okay. I took the prettiest mollies and put them all in a tank. Yeah. That's sort of the deal is that, with live bears, you have to go out and do this. With the Amica Splendens, they haven't bred yet. I think I'm getting to the point because I see males developing. As of right now, they sort of look like they could be all females. I have 8, so more than likely I'm gonna have that. So my goal is to swap once I start getting fry. Swap some Amica Splendens with somebody else who has some. Swap like 3 or 4, and just so I have genetic diversity and genetic vigor. I want to have 3 tanks with the Amica Splendens in it. So that's sort of my goal, but obviously I need to be in the house and all that sort of stuff. So it's and I see myself, by the way, with 30, 40 Guppy tanks before you know it. So with the current tank that I have as my grow out, where I have my Super Reds in the 55, I'm gonna buy like a 75, 65. They usually have pretty good deals at PetSmart, and I'm gonna pick one of those setups, and I'm gonna set that up immediately. Probably the first day I get into the house. I'm gonna get that set up and get that ready to go. So it's all good. Zen Ginger, you're not heartless. Okay, there we go. Yeah, do you know what? I'm from what my setup is going to be racks. Um, it's and I'm going to get more industrial type racks. May not be pretty. I'm not Captain Construction. It's just not my wheelhouse. So and so I'm going to get industrial racks that are deep enough. I would like to find them, and I was going through Home Depot last week. I would like them big enough that I could put on end by end, so I get more aquariums in of deep enough for for the 29 gallon because I want a few of those. The one that I saw there that I really kind of liked. It has that metal grate bottom, which of course I'll put like wood on top of that, and then put like I've seen these things where it's like a cushiony plastic type thing. I forget what it's called, but I saw somebody do that with their fish room build. I thought that was pretty neat. Put that over the wood, and then and then have that all set up. So that's sort of where I'm at with that. So I'm not totally ready. I have to sort of pick that out over the next few weeks here. And yeah, Doug, that's a good question. And is that and that may be what I end up doing. I think that's good advice. Yeah, we don't have Costco in Joplin because we're so close. We're an hour away from the home of Walmart. So we have a Sam's here, and the Sam's racks at this one, I have to take another look to see if they have any bigger ones. I got the one I've got here, the exact one, which works great for tens. But I want something bigger. I want something bigger instead of just four tens across. I want one where you can put 20 tanks across. You know, it's just again, my goal is to have a good setup and all in place. And so again, I would love to get the house with the basement, but this whole fear of radon apparently is worse than smoking. Radon. Is it really? Is radon worse than it's smoking? You know what, Jesse? We should have a Costco or a BJ's wholesale club. But I lived in Little Rock. Little Rock didn't even have a Costco. So yeah, the deal about building a new strain, Doug can address that a whole lot more than I can. Is that I'm doing that right now. I have this male guppy that I really like, and this tank is breaking in, so the water's already getting a little bit cloudy, and it'll be that way for about a week or so. But as it develops all the different things, so the fish doesn't quite look the same way. He looked a little more purple in the other tank, but I'm guessing that'll develop. Um, and in one of the strains of sword-tailed guppies I have, they come out with the guy who breeds them. Likes the idea of genetic diversity in his lines, and swordtails colors are not necessarily as important as they would be if you had a delta tail strain, if you're showing the guppies, etc. So he likes the idea of doing genetic diversities, and Costco and cockroaches surviving. By the way, I saw something on the Science Channel the other night, and again, I go to bed really early because I get up at 4 a.m. Um, and bingo, out of the blue, um, I saw uh, a pretty neat special on the killer asteroids, the sweet meteor of death, and they were, I get everyone's concerned that the weather's changing a little bit, the whole climate change thing. Let me tell you what we really should be spending our money on. We as a world should be focusing on. Okay, we all of a sudden notice, in 5 days that a meteor is heading straight for California. We should learn how to get rid of that. Just a helpful hint. That was paranoid. Did you hear my motion detector at the front door off of my? See, I'm just so I'm locked into you guys. Yeah, I have my ring unit. And let's see here. Did one just go off? By the way, creating your own strain of fish, I think it's kind of the fun thing to go through. Yep, that's what that was a few minutes ago. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, the mailman was going by. So, well, Bruce Willis could change the world with that asteroid thing, absolutely. And yeah, you've got Doug here. That Killer Asteroid, was that a Blondie song, really? Let's try this out. Alexa, play Killer Asteroid by Blondie.
I couldn't find a Killer Asteroid by Blondie, but here is other music by Blondie.
Yeah, it's good. Alexa, turn off. I don't want to get a copyright thing on this. So there you go. Yeah, the deal is from on what I'm going to be doing with these strains is very, very simple on what I'm trying. It's I have something I'm doing right now. The female fish dropped a couple of things. Well, it's a good idea for a song, Doug. I think that we'll have to reach out to Debbie Harry, give her the idea. So, as I received from Michael, I received a pair of half red blonde cobras, and the female died. I just got a pair, and so I just had this male here. So I put in a couple of swordtail females. The swordtail females just had drops, but I don't think that he's the father. You know what I'm saying? So I think with these fry, I'm going to move them over to the to the grow out tank and go from there. But the next drop should pretty much all be him. So I'm kind of excited. Magenta elephant here. Yeah, you see, there you go. Yeah, you come up with something snazzy and throw that up on Aquabit, and people go. They'll grab it. They'll grab it. Having a snappy name is really important. It just but the idea here is you want to get to the point where they're breeding true, because you don't want to sell fish to somebody. In fact, Doug Bray did a video on this just in the last probably in the last few weeks here, that he bought a type of guppy, and all the drops, nothing matched what he got. So yeah, having a strain of guppies that breeds true is really important, or mollies, or whatever. The deal is with bettas, and is Big City Betta still here? Amber, you still around? I have a question for you. I think if I went betta, I would probably have a home full of jars. All I'd be doing is changing water. It just because they're pretty damn awesome. Here is my question, and you should be able to help me on this. And I probably should join the International Betta Congress. God, talk about something that's going to tempt me to get bettas. Holy capoly. The International Betta Congress is, it's like the International Fancy Guppy Association, American Libraries. It's something to celebrate the bettas. They do shows. They do all sorts of neat things with the bettas. Well, in guppies, the goal is to come up with a pure strain being what, 95% of the fry. Hey, V-Stag, welcome to the live stream. Hey, check out my neat T-shirt. It's a wolf. You see? And yeah, you see, that's sort of the deal there, Jesse, is that with guppies, you want everything to look exactly the same. Everything to look exactly the same, 95% plus. So if you sit there and you watch some of these guys that have developed their own strain of fish, they've done their own thing. They may be 10, 12 generations in before when everything goes through. Yeah, you gotta put the R in shirt. So yeah, so the process is you want all the babies exactly the same. That's the goal of that's the goal of any fancy guppy breeder, is that they want to go out and get exactly the same. And so the idea here with bettas is that you want to go through, and it's really important to go through. And yeah, the outcrosses need to be with fish that are genetically similar. So with the guppies here, I'm technically setting up two strains of Roebuck Reds, or two different lines, I should say, and I'm going to cross them every 4 to 6 generations. So it'll be a cross, and again, just for vigor and what have you. But essentially, they're all genetically very similar. They come from the same breeder, the same line. I'm just doing my take on it. Oh God, you see, that's where I would be. Used to breed bettas for years. I gave up after I had over 100 jars to keep cleaning and feeding. Yeah, no, that's sort of the deal. It the gal that Diane, who is from San Francisco Bay Area or Sacramento, whose channel has not been active lately. She's real big into the IFGA, Inglorious Bettas, and she was going through, the bettas that she had, and she was breeding often, but she only had like 8 or maybe 10 bettas, in 1 gallon jars, which I thought was pretty cool. Why is the black that appears on what type of just any tetra? And they're becoming more black. They get black spots. Brandon, what do they get? Yeah, what type of wild bettas do you have, HC Agua? Some of them are, pretty peaceful. Skirted tetras, and you're getting black around the head. I have no idea, but somebody here may. I love tetras. I just it's I've got to figure out how to with the leopard danios I have, and I don't have any tetras right now in the aquariums, but I love them. And oh, you have the Beto Shannonoids. Is that how it's pronounced, Jesse? My I have interest in wild bettas. I like them. I just have not gotten to the point yet where I don't know about you guys, but if you wake up in the middle of the night and the first thing that comes into your mind is fish, that happens to me all the time. I just wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking, oh, close enough. Okay, that's good. Again, the whole process with I keep going in, start thinking it through. The channel that is really pushing me towards plecos is, of course, TM Aquatics, and his plecos are just unfreaking believable. I mean, they're really amazing. That's a good question, Zen Ginger. Is the tap water? Hopefully, again, as long as our aquariums aren't overstuffed, once they're in your water and for a long time, yeah, it's just to go through. Yeah, it's aquariums have been there for a while, and occasionally if you're using tap water, people will go through and set up. One of the things I'm going to do in the new house, I would love to do summer tubbing this year, but I don't think I'm going to be in April. I may give it a shot at summer tubbing. Um, it again, my deal is with I is that I have to get this place set up. I've got to get the fish room set up. I think summer tubbing is going to be too much for me this year to get done, because I've got to Bolo is getting a girlfriend, and so hopefully this spring, and so I'll be in a new house, new puppy, no out, bunch of new aquariums, cool stuff set up. That's sort of what I can go through here. So today, when we're done here in about 15 minutes, Bolo and I'll go run our errands, and then if that wasn't just enough for you, enough good stuff all the way around, we're gonna go. Uh, you know, I'm gonna stop by my LFS to see if they want some shrimp, because I mean, you know, if I'm counting 120, there's a lot in there. So, and there's part of the aquarium I really can't see all that well because I planted the baby tears in the wrong spot. I have no idea why I put them where I put them. I did. So I've got to go, and they've grown up really nice and big. This may be an age thing, Brandon. This may be an age thing with your tetras. A few years old, by the way, is a long time for most tetras. It really is. Just shows how happy they are. If you have stressed out tetras and they're living to 3, I doubt it. It's so my guess is that is good. You have them on natural gravel. I've been sort of doing this thing of putting them on black gravel, and I'm going to tell you something kind of funky. I got the Flufall Seachem, and I have that substrate in like 3 of my aquariums, and or 4 of my aquariums, and it's beginning to look a little gray. Now I wish I would have gotten the Eco Complete, which I have in my 55. It looks fantastic. Looks absolutely fantastic. So yeah, maybe I think on my way to my errands here, I'll swing by and see my LFS. Bolo will want to come with me, and so we'll go and do that. And hey, Sailfin Aquatics, thanks for being with us. It's you have a great day, and I really appreciate having you join the live stream today. Thanks for the thumbs up and all the cool stuff. So yeah, the fish room, it's I swear to you, there's a project to be done, and my deal is that is to try to get to um in the fish room, get to the point where I do about an hour's worth of work every day. Hey, you know what? Bolo has made money. You know how much people pay to have their female dog spend quality time with Bolo? And I haven't pushed it as much, and quite frankly, I'm kind of concerned because I don't want him to overdo it because he's old now with a heart condition. 400 bucks. 400 bucks for loving from Bolo. He's a gigolo. And by the way, anybody who tells you, I'm going to tell you one of the biggest fallacies in the entire world, that male dogs are, if you don't have them fixed, they're aggressive. And so occasionally you'll get one that really is. Here's the deal. If you go and you socialize your puppy from moment one, you will, for a little dog like this, one of the problems is they can be kind of aggressive, kind of protective. When he was a little puppy, we'd go places and I would put him into people's hands. So I had as many people touch him as humanly possible. The other thing to do with is, and this is advice I got when I first got him, best advice in the world, and I'm passing it on to you for when you get your next puppy. Take your dog to a puppy kindergarten and then do like 1 or 2 rounds of obedience training. And there are these non-profit obedience schools almost everywhere. Joplin has one, for goodness sake. And by the way, Zen Ginger, well water is not necessarily all that good. And sometimes those waters have it's sometimes the water in wells, sometimes they have some contaminants, sometimes so it's not necessarily a be all end all. But the one thing I'm going to do with the house when I get in is I'm going to set up with those barrels to store water that runs off the roof, put that water through a strainer, and do straight rainwater to my aquariums every once in a while. I'm going to do that. The only problem is that water tends to be not as generally depending on where you live, but it generally is more acidic than it is alkaline. And of course, with guppies, you want the alkaline. So, yeah, you know what, Amateur Aquatics, totally right. There's a next door neighbor lady here who's a nice enough. This dog that when she's walking it, if this was like a 70-pound dog, her arm would be ripped off every time. The dog is completely unnerved. But again, it's early training. Put your dog with other dogs. Have people hold it. And the breeder of Bolo must have had cats because he loves them. Cats don't necessarily know what to do with him, but he loves them. Alkaline, yeah, great MLB player too. Jeff Peterson would think that I'm sure. So the idea here, is like with anything, is that if you're making steaks and you want to do a real nice steak dinner, you get the best steak you can get. If you get cheap steak, well, it's probably gonna be tough, not very flavorful. If you spend a little bit more, it's gonna be more tender, and it's just, well, with fish, with dogs, with whatever, the best stock you can get, the better off you are health wise. And it's not a be all end all, it's not a cure all to work and to maintaining and to taking care of what's going on with them. It's just sort of the deal. So yeah, so Bolo prefers, he likes big dogs. There was a dog that was playing with him the other day in the neighborhood. Hey, Valley Fish, welcome. What's the weather in Iowa? And it's TM Aquatics was saying he's going to the Quad Cities for a table sale in February, And I would love to go, but it's on a frickin' Sunday. And I have to be at the office at 5 a.m. on Monday. It's about a 9 hour, it's about an 8 hour drive. So it's about a 9 hour drive. So I and so that ain't going to work. If it was on Saturday, now we're talking, I could go. And, why are people doing their table sales on Sunday? Because anyone who has to drive, the St. Louis Aquarium Club did one, about a month ago on a frickin' Sunday, and that's about a 6 hour drive. It's almost, it's about the same distance the Quad Cities to go to St. Louis from where I'm at. So yeah, so I wasn't real, I would love to go. I would love to do it, but I can't go out and do the thing. By the way, this morning in Joplin, Missouri, 28 degrees. It's Alexa, what's the current temperature?
Right now, it's 38 degrees Fahrenheit.
38 degrees right now.
Tonight, expect a low of 33 degrees.
33 tonight. At Cody-san, 29 degrees in Iowa, where you're at. Okay, well, you see, it is January, everybody. We should feel a little cold. It's I have this general rule. If I'm not going to the office, I like wearing shorts, and my temperature line is this: is that if it's below 20, I wear pants. But 21, 22, I'll wear shorts. All good. Well, that TDS is pretty good, Zen Ginger, if you have something called Guppies. They're all about it. Yeah, sometimes the water comes out with a little bit of ammonia in it. And you know what? I have not tested the ammonia out of the tap, and I probably should here. I just haven't done it, and I should. And, when I tested in the aquariums, it's absolutely fantastic. So one of the tanks I went through and got all the males out yesterday, and I'm looking over, and I must have missed one because there's a little creep out there swimming around right now. Doggone it. So there you go. Hey, Doug Gray, I have a quick question. What do you normally get? What's your percentage in Roebuck Reds? What's your percentage of between males and females in a drop? Because one of my Roebuck Red breeding groups, I have probably about 40 in the aquarium, and I have I think from what I'm seeing so far 2 males, other than the original males. Yeah, I'm getting a ton of females, an absolute ton of females, which is great. Yeah, well, if you have guppies, a little hard water ain't a bad thing. It's all good. And it's if you want discus, well, that's another thing. D, welcome. Great to have you here. Thanks for being dropping by. Down the wormhole in the house. So yeah, it depends on the fish you have. It's hard water works pretty good for guppies. So it's and when I lived in Little Rock, which had very soft water, you had to do things to make it harder. Mr. B's fishing things. Everything I know about the temp deal is that I will tell you with my swordtail guppies, I'm getting more males than I am females. I have a ton of them. So, who knows? Nice, Jesse. Perfect for guppies. Perfect for guppies. That nice hard water. So, all right, gang. It is time for me to step away. I got to go do my stuff. I want to thank you all for being here, and we'll see you on. I'll have a video of the new breeders I set up. I'll have that up and running. I'll have that up for you tomorrow, so you can see the swordtail breeders and the super reds that I've set up. And so that is, we'll go and we'll have that in place. So again, thanks for watching, and I really appreciate it. 17 here, 17 thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a great day, and we'll see you later on.